August 17th meeting to order. And we will take a roll call starting
Niceville.
Carol Hannah, James Scott. All right, we have a quorum. Fine now, so we can actually get something done tonight. So we had a special meeting last month. We had a great meeting. Minutes of that.
I didn't read mine, so I can't find mine. So. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
We got a lot done that day.
It was a
great,
fruitful meeting.
yes.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we can go to our old business then, so Denise update us on the
So, do some updates for our stormwater tree planting initiative, which we would like to title this as a Madison County bicentennial tree planting project. We are hopeful to be able to get the endorsement for it to be a Madison County bicentennial legacy project. We have been verbally given the approval to have that as one of the bicentennial projects. But as part of our grant application, that we'll talk about that here in just a minute. But as far as the trees, we are looking at a 3 5-gallon bucket tree. I had some conversation with Nancy Anderson. She's worked with the city of Anderson for several different projects. They may opt to kind of enhance their project to a bulb and burlap tree, but we feel that for most of our communities, they're smaller size street departments that will be manhandling a lot of their projects, and we feel like that overall for 200 tree project, we need to go ahead, especially with the time frame we have, we need to keep to a gallon bucket tree. A lot more manageable. I have spoken with Woody Warehouse. I've got their quote. We can get a tree for about $40 to $50 for a 3 to 5 gallon bucket tree. And they said that they would be able to give us stock, provide that as a Riztown, Indiana. And it's about an hour drive. So what we would plan to do is have our street department, I go with Nicole, and probably one or two other crew members, and we would go ahead and pick up all those on one of our. The Woody Warehouse, they felt like that they could give us a variety of about maybe 10 to 15 trees. We're gonna go with the small to medium-sized tree. We don't want to get any of the large trees that will leave out, like maple trees and oak trees, which are really nice shade trees for a larger tree canopy. But we want to be able to make sure that it can be flexible in the space that the communities want. So then that way, if they want to use them as residential trees, street trees, they're not getting a large tree stock that they won't be able, they'll be limited on their space selections. As far as timing, we are looking at October the 10th to the 13th for this, the following week, which is October the 17th to the 20th. The reason being is it's prime time for fall planting for trees, but also it falls within a couple of fall breaks. So the first week is the Pendleton Heights fall break. That following week falls on Anderson's fall break. And, okay, and I was going to ask you, and your family is look out. Okay, that's what I thought. The reason why we wanted to kind of fall within one of those two is because we're going to need to plant and hold the tree distribution event during the weekday and during the operating hours. Because a lot of these street departments, they may be one or two employees. And, but being that it'll fall within maybe a couple of those fall breaks, then we're hoping that we can get some families and children. So now that I know that lapel is the 17th to the 20th, would that be a good week that we want to kind of shoot for? That way too, Anderson, if they get a larger number of trees, that might help them to have more volunteers that the Rotary Club's going to work on the volunteer. I think, you know, as far as
Pendleton's always able to get volunteers no matter when you do stuff.
I do too, yeah.
Feel like Pendleton's like better for people. Yeah, better for Anderson maybe. Okay. What's the what's your bet? Most like people.
And I think that would give us a little bit more push, you know, time for preparation. And what I'd also like is I would like to the Tuesday prior, so that was on the 17th, have our community tree distribution. And that way it gives those communities then 4 days to be able to plant those trees before that. We won't designate one day for the tree planting. We just figured that we would, and if some of those communities can't get them in the ground until the following, you know, couple of weeks, they'll at least need it before the frost.
So the 17th is when we would have our distribution.
Yes. And then each community, their street department would be responsible for coming. Or if they have a designated organization, community that they want to work with, that's fine. But yeah, I think if we can do that, so I will get with the park and see, kind of walk in, confirm about the 17th using their layout of the parking lot.
Yeah.
I think it worked very well for that recovery tree project.
That was gonna be my next question,
Yeah.
because it worked so well, you know,
Yeah,
after the, yeah, that was,
Do the same.
yeah,
Yeah.
it worked well.
And we have the equipment there. We needed equipment.
Yeah. As part of that event, what we're going to do is the Madison County Stormwater Quality Partnership. They will all be there with the booth, the educational booth that we had at the Burger Day. Booth there at Anderson in the spring. They'll be there to hand out bags, food bags, material, and then also as a piece of that, I would like to be able to have some sort of a short, doesn't be long, but some sort of a presentation. One, I'd like to incorporate the rain barrels in that, where each rain barrel that is done, like, the artist would be part of that event, so we could have a picture of all of them together, and then they would just take it back with them. In the 23.
Alright.
Now, who's setting up the education?
The Madison County Stormwater Quality Partnership. And if we want to have a side table, I'd be more than happy to put something together that we can have and sit there. And we can give them the QR code to our Facebook page or
Now, where is this gonna be at?
at the ballpark office.
Okay, the Falls
I
Park, okay.
mentioned it to Aaron.
All right,
you know,
the
mentioned that
the
we
whole
want to do
shebang is
that.
gonna be there.
Right,
Okay,
right
all right.
there, and that way we can allow them to come
Okay.
in and get the trees. The only piece that I need to make sure we kind of get coordinated is if we do the presentation, then that way, you know, we don't want to cluster vehicles coming in.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. They may come in at different times. I'm not sure a presentation is really.
Yeah.
What day is that? It's a weekday, right?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
See, the month of October with pumpkin patch, I can't promise that I'd be anywhere. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
that's fine.
unfortunately,
Your
it's-
moral- your thoughts and prayers.
yes, yeah, underline
No.
prayers, no. No.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, I don't know. I mean, we really don't want them to all be there at the same time.
That'd be a real
That would
cluster.
be, yeah, that could be.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like it. And maybe we just have the information
Just be present.
and they could see what, you know, if we have the rain barrels, they could see them, but I don't know.
Maybe then
That's-
If we
that
did a
sounds-
presentation at the beginning of it, even if everybody wasn't there, if we record it, we can put it on our Facebook. page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody. can see
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
We don't have to worry about all of them being
Yeah,
there.
just-
And hopefully the
Yes, I like that.
The
Yeah.
Times will make and have a big, maybe the Herald Bulletin even, but have a nice big article on it. Bring it to everybody's attention.
Yeah, I like that idea. I like just having maybe an unveiling of the grain barrels.
Yeah.
And, you know, we just kind of thank everyone for coming to something kind of short and sweet. We would like anyone to come to the
And
booth
just
for education.
explain what we're doing. I
Mhm.
mean,
Yeah.
is that, you know, posting that we've got 200 trees we're gonna plant throughout Madison County, and we have all these communities that are part of the celebrating, you know, just something short and sweet, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can check with. The video.
Kenny
with the
Hooker?
different trees.
Is
Jenny?
this does he
Be
do
a
that?
good person.
He's
but,
working full time at home.
Yeah.
That's right, yes, yeah.
But, Jake Hudson was one.
When the high school kid, when he a high school kid?
I forget who the other guy was he was working with. But his girlfriend bought my mom's old work car. That was in her.
Oh,
Oh,
So I know all about them.
And
They-
they-
She's starting IU, he's starting Butler.
Okay.
They're both seniors. So I don't know if you do that.
Although most smartphones take awfully good.
Uh-huh, no kidding.
awfully good
But if you want to get
video.
this to be audio, so that you're gonna post it, you know. Is there
This is
anybody
something
from, that
else.
does the town's webpage? From,
It is good.
is anybody?
Or not, but I could, yeah,
Let's-
I would
yeah,
check
let's-
around.
Let's check
Karen
it out.
Ledbetter, I know from the friend of the ballpark, she did the bicentennial lake ceremony and had a little folder and did it right off of her phone and
Yeah.
videoed it live. But
Good. She
Yeah.
had a medical procedure today. And she's gonna be on weight restriction for the rest of the farmer's market season.
Oh, really?
And she works through the week, so by October, I don't know. She might be willing to take it.
Let's think about that.
Ask around. I mean,
Yeah.
there's surely somebody that.
I have someone video of a yoga class that I did. She just did it on her phone and posted it on Facebook.
Looks
It's
good.
pretty good. Even though it's me. I figured I say so myself. And she just recorded it on her phone.
That might be
My
something we
phone
could record live on our urban culture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Or if not live, at least. put it on there.
Yeah.
Oh, let me.
I can't think of the one gentleman's name. That he does the follow video. Coordinating.
Sure there's,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm kind of vaguely now that you say that. I think I know him, but I can't think of his name.
Tyler's not busy.
Tyler Bradfield, he did a lot like with me,
That's who I
him,
think,
but he's, this other gentleman.
not Jake Hudson.
He's older than.
Yeah,
than-
yeah,
still
he's old,
young,
yeah.
But
Yeah,
he's, he might be early 30s. Boy,
maybe.
Okay, we'll think of somebody.
okay, that's a great idea. I like that. We'll just do that. We'll plan on having just something real
If
kind of
anyone thinks of a
short at the
name,
beginning before the
send out an
distribution.
email.
And I like the idea of scheduling those towns at different intervals. throughout the
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
Kind of spread that.
Yeah.
So you can do something
Or let,
every
yeah,
half
let
hour.
them pick up what's ever convenient for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we want to make it as
Yeah.
convenient for them as we
Time
can.
slot to pick that out.
People say that all the time.
All the way up
Just
to
don't
South
know. Well, yeah, that, yeah, but people from Anderson, they may, I drove all the way down here, and I'm thinking, it takes you 10 minutes. But,
So for the grant applications, I've not heard from Arbor Day Foundation. I put in there that preferably we'd like to hear by mid-August. Yeah, I said if we could hear by the end of August, we could, gives us still about 2 months to put the project together. But I've not heard back, and we did get confirmation that it was all received. But I also applied for the Madison County Bicentennial Legacy Project grant application. So through the Bicentennial Committee, submitted that on August 1st. We had 2 cycles left. Learned about the opportunity on would be July 31st. So went ahead and stayed that evening to be able to get that submitted. Submitted that then on August the 1st. But I had several different documents. So apparently that email that it's connected to, I was talking to Amy Turner, who was on that committee, asked her, just get a little paranoid, hadn't heard anything, get close to the 15th of August of when we would have heard back from. And she said that the committee doesn't have a consistent meeting basis, and she hadn't heard. And she had recommended to send an email out to Clayton. She had to send hers a couple of times, but she had. But, so Tuesday I reached out to him and then heard back from him in Wednesday that he had received our application and our budget, but not the other documents. So went ahead and submitted. So I think we're good now, but I printed out a hard copy of the application. A lot of it was with the details of the project, as far as who's hosting, responsibilities for each partner, then kind of outlining the budget. I also printed out, it's also your Google Drive, the budget for the event. The first copy or the first section of the budget is administrative costs, and that is based on figures out of our ordinance, but it's all in copy. true hard cost, it's just the time anticipated to administer the project. And then you'll see in the next section is the tree stop. So for Arbor Day application, I put in maximum of 20,000 for the grant. However, we weren't concerned or fixated on the financial number, but more of the coverage for 200 trees. So if we were able to find a tree stop costing $50 a tree, then it would only be. So I worked off of that because I was able to confirm in the meantime with Woody Warehouse what their cost per tree. So I put in 4,000 requests. The maximum grant request for the bicentennial committee was 5,000 per project. I have been informed that there is still a significant amount of funding left in that, because they've not had as much response and interest in hosting events as they anticipated. So they do have a large budget, and but with it being a maximum 5,000, I requested for the 5,000. I thought that if, out of courtesy, we'd give them to where it wasn't just all 5,000 in tree. So I split it up with 4,000 in tree stop and $1,000 to cover the water buckets, the stickers, and the rain. Then with the match of 10,000 or 6,000. So what my intent is, the original intent was that submit that application, wait till the 15th to your word, hopefully get favorable response, and then submit additional documents to Arbor Day Foundation to show that we've been able to confirm the 4,000 in the tree stop, lowering it down to 6,000. And then if they still are unable to find a donor to match with our fund, then resubmit a second application to the bicentennial for their last round. And then submit it for an additional to cover the remaining.
Which may
Or
work.
at least 5,000.
That may work.
So-
That may work. With the
So
way
that's what I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
That's my plan B.
Yeah.
Plan C would be is that I will just be looking out for individual businesses locally here that may want to help. Right. And cover. So that's plan C. Good news, we did get a commitment of $1,000 from the Madison County Stormwater Quality Partnership. They are funding the full $1,000 of the match for the buckets, the stickers, and the rain.
Oh, good.
And for our source of the rain barrel, we're going to purchase them through the Madison County Water and Soil Management. So Brandy said that we can get them for $55, which is a little bit cheaper than what our best number we've got from Fort Treasure and then
Alright.
also the park. So it's a little bit
That's
cheaper.
good.
It was going to be like 60 to 75. A lot of them online. So she said she'd be more than happy, to get us set up there. And if we are lacking any funds as well, she said to let her know, so then that way her district may be able to. She actually had offered up $500 for the grant. But then the partnership said, no, we really want to give 1,000, but if they have any additional needs, then would you be willing to do that?
Who is that again?
That is Brandy Frazier from the Madison County Water and Soil District. And they are a partner of our partnership. Yeah, so
I can't keep them all
I
straight.
know.
I know, it's all, we had our stormwater audit on Tuesday with the state, Indiana Department of Environmental Management. That was about a 4 or 5 hour audit that we had with them. And boy, I got all the acronyms and all the stuff, and yeah, but we think we passed. So we have a couple things we got to do at our barns, our facilities, but other than that, she said that she anticipated not having.
I was gonna ask, what exactly do they do on that? I mean, how do they?
So for the requirements for that audit,
Yeah.
the general permit came out 2 years ago. So we had to have our notice of intent filed on 2022. And from July of 2022, you have 5 years to satisfy all of their requirements. But then you have other requirements in the meantime that are annual or every 60 days or every, whether it's yearly, quarterly, you've got to track on employee training, related education.
This is the town of Pendleton.
This is for the all MS4 partnerships, or all MS4 municipalities. But being within a partnership, in some of the joint activities will count and get credit to all of us within the partnership. So yes,
Wow.
it is very in-depth. I mean, it's you track from your snow plow, your street sweeping, you have to track our leaf pickup, our limb pickup, our dog food bags, anything to try to help with water quality and stormwater management.
Right.
You know this thing we learned about with certified sprayers? Has that got anything to do with stormwater?
Well, they mentioned that in the audit,
I've looked
that
that
with
up.
pesticides and all that you want to have one. It's not required yet, but she said it could be coming down the line. They eventually, in the next rounds, in the next 5 years, they're going to tier out because we have the same requirements as Fishers, Indianapolis, so it doesn't matter. And so they're going to tier them out a little bit. But she did mention that because I know we know Aaron Burris has some certifications being in the park and then working like the pool. So he does have some certification. So she said just have that on record, have a copy of that, so then that way, if audited in the next 5 years, we'll be ready.
Well, I'm just thinking, that triggered in my brain, but I'm just thinking, what we saw when that did the one tree, I'm sure, and herbicide spray, got more than one tree of all the trees.
Yes, yes.
So, just so that's on somebody's radar, that that's something. to watch. And from what I read, I thought it did become law. We're in public property. If you have to have controlled records of what you spray, when you spray it, who sprays it, if they're certified. And I even asked my son-in-law, who works in environmental, he said, oh yeah, everybody's supposed to do that.
Well, isn't that
Public
what,
property, that's what Karen and,
uh,
Aaron, no,
see, I can't.
the other girl.
Yeah. God,
Oh,
You're
the other
dying?
guy.
the,
Well, they all four kind of nodded their heads about it. Karen brought it out and from the tree place.
Oh, Aaron's like.
Aaron, yeah.
Yes, okay.
They both,
Yes, yeah.
talked about how that is critical.
and that makes sense. I mean, it really does make sense.
Yeah.
So I think it definitely is coming down the line.
I bet it
Sure,
will.
we track that. Sure.
I'm really kind of surprised it hadn't happened sooner, frankly.
And even just with the creeks, we've got to map out all our outfalls, we've got to do that. We'll have a little water testing, but we have to have goals and mitigation as far as impact of all that stuff. She was very kind to kind of give us forewarning. Yeah, in the meantime, we have contractor workshop that we have to start educating. Now that we're going to start getting some industrial lending districts that we have coming up, we're going to have to do education, industrial businesses, operations, and then we also have to do public outreach. So that's why this event has came up, created one of our events that we're going to have, because we have to hold those, we have to have 3 of those. We've got a White River Watchers, it's actually tomorrow, or Saturday, I'm sorry, they're gonna do a cleanup on Saturday. So if you do want to go down the river in a canoe and help clean that out, that will also, because the White River Watchers is a part of the partnership, that will count as well. This coming Saturday, 8:30 in the morning at the Answer. I can give you that information if you like.
Well, I'm not going to do it, but I'm thinking, is that something we would want?
Our Facebook page, yeah.
Well, for a few years, we had it in Oak Creek too, but it kind of where they did the cleanup and volunteer
I'd
cleanup
like to
and
do that, yes. I'd like to-
for 2 or 3 years. They had it and it was kind of there were a lot of people down. I remember one time I was there just kind of watching. I wasn't getting in there, but there was a lot of people there,
Yeah,
like Boy Scouts and
yeah,
all these other,
yeah, groups
Yeah.
come in, yeah. On the
yeah.
I bet if they ever take that dam out, there'll be some stuff. With that.
Josh told me, I don't know if I told you this, but when I asked my son-in-law, he said that's what his company has been doing around, is they get hired to test the sediment in these basins that they're thinking about.
Mhm.
If there is anything bad in the sediment, they won't pick the dam out unless that gets remediated. Yeah, it's a big deal, because it would just send it on down. the
Yeah,
street.
that's right.
She did talk about a fish study. She had recommended for us to do if we did remove that bait.
Probably other things and
Mhm. Like bodies or
Don't
something.
say that.
But yeah, she did say that if that Lowhead Dam, if it is a legitimate Lowhead Dam, that we're on the 303B list, she said. And so she said, that is something you want to get yourself off of. So we're going to kind of get off and see if we are on it. Yes, and the justification of the reason. why.
That's getting in
It's gonna be, yeah,
depth on all this. Wow.
but yeah, we've got, water quality, characterization report, we've got stormwater management plan, we got a model ordinance plan as far as our management for stormwater, so we've got marching orders for things that luckily they weren't due at this point. We have construction, post-construction stormwater ordinance, we have that in place, but we need our illicit discharge and just some procedures and so forth. So it's a whole gamut of things that we have luckily until, some of them we have until July of 2024 to get done, and then others come in 2025, and others beginning of 27. And then we'll start over the whole new thing.
set of
Yeah,
rounds.
so
Yeah,
it's been very educational for sure.
yes.
Be a part of that. So, but I think that to me is exciting is just how much truth gives to stormwater management to help control that runoff and underwater tables. And there's just so much benefit, preventing flooding and so forth, that I think that this project is perfect.
I agree.
Group and
Yeah.
for our, so,
Timing was perfect. on
yeah,
that.
yeah, isn't it? Yes. And the Anderson Rotary Club would like to have a presentation on September the 12th. Met with Carol, Hannah on Wednesday, and she's going to attend to that, but it's at the Anderson Rotary Club. So if you'd like to come, you're more than welcome to. We will kind of tag team. Brady Dreyer, he is one of the main engineers at Commonwealth Engineers. They are consultant. So they were out here, went through the audit with us, and they are the ones that put a lot of our with all our plans. They help us with our annual report, which is very extensive. So they are going to present at that meeting kind of the purpose and mission of this board. And
I'm
then,
sorry, who'd you say he's with?
Commonwealth Engineer. His assistant, his team member is Andrew Utz, and they're great team. They really, we tell them, you make us look good, I mean, they have educated us, they've held our hand, they've guided us, all along the way. They have been a great asset to the town. And so they're gonna come, and he's going to take that piece of it, and then I will present just, what the project, the purpose of the project, what that's going to look like.
That's on the 12th.
And that's on the 12th of September at he said there's about 60. Pretty big group. But I'm hoping that by the 12th, I've kind of got my marching orders, yes, between then, now and then. Between now and the end of August, I'm going to be working on just securing the funds for the project and then working with the that I want to get verbal commitments and to really identify how many trees and start thinking about where they want it. We've had conversations, but I need to have a verbal commitment. And then the 1st of September to the mid-September, that's when I want to have all the funding. I want written commitments. The Commonwealth, they're going to work out the agreement form for us. So they broke down all the categories and explained to Carol, it'll be from like the number of trees to they're going to have how many they want requested for the community. But we're going to ask them to just commit to the fact that they will select their tree sites. They will provide all the 811 locates for that. They will upload that location to the collector map. So at the end of this, we will not only know the location of every 200 tree, but then later they can go in and make it happen for that as well. So that that way we'll know every tree and how many, or what tree type. And then they also have to commit to picking up the trees and coordinating the planting. And then we're going to add a piece to it that we want to give a little description space for them to add anything special that they as a community want to add. So if there's a special place, a park, a town center, it could be a blighted area within the community that they want to bring trees to, whatever it is that they want to add to. I think it would be wonderful, and I know you all would too, is to share how different communities are making it special to them. That was one of the big pieces too with the is to having some cultural inclusivity and to be able to highlight for those communities. So we're looking at these 8 communities and then Jessica Bassett to Summitville, Orestes, Marpleville, and LaPel, Franklin. So they're not a part of our partnership, but even if they took 1 or 2 trees and have times post to the nice summary article.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of, I've missed anything here, but as far as the town of Pendleton, we'll serve as a project liaison with the local communities to coordinate the piece of the public park. That's going to be another big piece and task that needs to get knocked out, and then also being the host for community trips.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That is
Yeah,
really a
but,
lot. Yeah.
I'm very thankful that we have the next 2 weeks of no board meetings, so it worked out perfectly. So, kind of give me a gap to be able to focus. And now we got that audit over with. We got that all in line. And, so, yeah, so good planning time. So in the meantime, if you all don't mind, just keep an eye out for your emails. I'd like to keep you guys communicating before the meeting, not just progression on grants, if you get news, and just a little bit more detail. Do you have any questions on that piece of update?
Sounds good.
Oh, and then I did want to add on September the 20th, the partnership is going to have, we added in an extra meeting, planning meeting, just to kind of do an update. The partnership is going to be virtual this time, but then that way we will have the commitments by that. So, have that to where then we'll have another good month to where then they can walk in their identification of the tree sites, get it uploaded in, and be ready to pick up trees and plant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did request what we talked about, maybe having a spot at the farmer's market on Saturday
Yes,
before
okay,
the
yeah.
event. And Karen said we could have the spot whatever days we wanted it.
Okay.
Whenever, and she wants the spot.
Awesome.
Well, what do you think about, would we want to do that close to it then? Like on the.
Well, I think we want to do it in September. Yeah, the market should go through the month of October if weather
And
permits.
weather permits.
But I mean, I think if we're gonna want
Yeah.
people to take part in it, I think we need to do it a few weeks before. So
Yeah,
I have time to for them to schedule things,
Yeah.
make plans.
And what about,
maybe the
23rd?
23rd. Would that be?
Just a little
And
bit
then,
over
and
3
then
weeks.
we should really have.
I'll be there at the beginning anyway. Dennis and I are filming Karen.
So we could just do it right next to where the.
Yeah.
I haven't even been down there yet this year. That's what I heard. I heard.
They had an incident that they got taken care of.
Yeah, no, I think, yeah, let's do that. The 23rd.
Whatever. I have a canopy, if you want a canopy. That's, we have one we can set.
And I've got a table I can bring.
We just
Kind
have
of
to
set
get
up.
it. I might check though. Because it's possible we can use Principal's Parks that was already in the depth.
That's
But we've
right.
got
Yeah.
two pins, and we
Yeah.
only use one on Saturday at farmer's market. They'll be using it both at the Heritage Fair, but it'll be.
Yeah.
So there's tape, there's extra tape in the canopy, so let's keep it simple, so there's not a bunch of people having big things.
So we want to each bring our own like folding chair or
Yeah,
something,
bring our
or
own
something like that, lawn chair, and then I'll bring stuff on the table. And then I'll set up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So that's.
Saturday, right?
I think,
You have to be,
8 or
you're
7
supposed to be
a.m.
ready to go by 7:45, but the road closes.
And then we can do, and then talk about that. Yeah, yeah. And then, what do you think about this? We get the grant, at least even just one portion of the grant through the bicentennial committee. I'd like to have some sort of logo artwork for the event. You think it's something that I could reach out to Mr. Comfort, maybe at the high school, he's one of the art teacher or whatnot. That's something we want to have a school.
Would this be something that would carry on after all this going on and then we could use it for other?
Could, I mean, I want to make sure that like in our, the sticker on our buckets that we have the bicentennial. So I think with that, but I don't know if we want to just have some type of logo so then that way when we promote that event, we have some type of,
Is that what you're talking about? Is that the, that's my.
that is for the porch party event this
Oh,
Sunday.
okay.
Yeah, so when that.
But
So the-
something
the
like
Madison
that,
County-
only it would be for our tree project, our.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, some type of visual. But, you know, if we
Someone
wanted to have-
at the first.
Might, yeah.
Or something together.
I mean,
I'm not.
they might.
They say, once we find out that we can, you know, go forward with the bicentennial being a legacy project, then I just thought, you know, maybe.
Yeah,
we
to have
had
some
some
kind of
type
It'd be nice to have something similar to this, but not, you can't use, you gotta be careful. some of these things.
Well, it'd be nice to have a tree.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it'd be something if we can have it to where it can show not just like a tree, but yet it's a county-wide
Yeah,
project.
yeah.
Or 200 trees and, you know, I don't know.
And
Maybe
I
you
like, I like trees when you can see the roots too,
Yeah.
because that's what makes the difference.
Maybe you could incorporate like a
Like the
picture of a
Arbor
tree with,
The Arbor Day
the
always has
roots.
the cool.
but somehow incorporate 200, you know,
Yeah.
Madison Camp, but, you know,
Yeah.
something, it could all be, it'd be kind of,
Yeah. Yeah, with branches
Right,
and roots.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
you know, I'm not a real creative artist.
I
know,
I know
that's-
there's people in this world that
That
really.
are, yeah.
Yeah, there's somebody that could probably think up something really.
For someone's granddaughter. It's very
I
I have been instructed, I am not allowed
artistic.
to mention money in her art.
I just was
because-
so impressed a few years ago. I thought, she's only in elementary. I know she's in high school now,
And,
but
and she
impressive.
loves to do it, but
can't be at her place.
she doesn't, you know, she's taken 3 8-week classes. Yeah, she's trying to keep up with her homework now. And
She's
I
busy.
asked her to do something for me for the Friends of Falls Park gift. And she tried, she said, Grandma, I can't do it. I have too much pressure to do it.
I can imagine. I've heard,
Yeah.
I've heard that's a tough program.
So,
So I didn't, I just.
Well, let's
Yeah,
just
okay,
think in
we'll
our
think
mind
about
what we would like to see, and then maybe we can just use a computer type stuff to make it.
Yeah, but we need somebody that really is artsy. I mean, yeah, but, because they can always come up with something
Yeah.
better than what
Yeah.
my idea is.
Right.
that's
You
what
know?
Karen Ledbetter does for the museum now.
She's
She
pretty
does
good.
it for Friends of Falls Park. She came up with the neatest logo for a calendar project that just got posted yesterday. And it's a picture of a calendar. But it's got a coffee mug in front of it that has the Friends of Falls Park emblem on it. And that came out, getting all these comments, and trying to get photographers to send photographs to put in a
Yeah.
calendar. Somebody commented, where can I get that coffee mug?
She
Someone's
is,
got to produce one now.
She just goes on there, you know, she knows how to do that.
she is good at that kind
I
of stuff.
can't volunteer to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and especially
You
if
know.
she's just.
I mean, Karen is really good at that. She's,
Yes.
she's,
But if we had any money to compensate for it, that might be helpful to her.
Yeah. Well, that will be coming up here, but we do have funds in our report.
What would we? Because if we want to make it into stickers or whatever, we need some time to do that then
I
too.
think early
What
subject.
does signage create?
they used to,
Yes, you will.
They,
Yeah.
I mean, they have
yeah,
given great ideas and they'll put up proofs and send it and
Yeah.
they.
Because-
Someone to talk with.
Yeah, because if we would have them make stickers, then maybe they would actually bring
Yeah.
the art book too.
Okay.
I'm guessing someone like that would make the stickers.
mhm,
Yeah.
yeah. Think of that. They sold, part of the people, the original owners sold, and now, but at least the last time I had to use them for something, the new person was very talkative and had good ideas
Is Kyle
Energy.
not there?
and is what,
Kyle not there?
I don't know, because I haven't been there.
That's
for a
who I
while.
was.
He had real good ideas and was real, got excited about things. But I don't know.
Yeah, good idea.
I don't know
Yeah,
who's
check
there
the
now.
signage. I did send Kyle an email. No, it was Monday. I'm not heard back, I know it's.
Yeah.
So, you know, Okay. I have, for the project right now.
I don't know how you do it all.
I don't
This is
either.
not all you do at work, but
Well,
thank
I'm
you.
not where I want to be on that project. That's what makes me very, very nervous. So,
Yeah, we need, it'd be nice to hear.
yes, if we get some funds, I'd be a
Yeah.
lot more relieved,
Yeah.
than no, but if not, we'll go with plan B or C. So.
Yeah.
I'm pretty impressed with Denise.
Yeah, me too.
Well, and let us know if, like, if you need to remind us to find someone that can record
Okay, yeah.
or
Okay.
remind us, because
Mhm.
sometimes I know I leave the meeting and then get busy on
Yeah.
something else. So
Yeah,
Don't, don't
that.
hesitate to remind us if you need some.
I appreciate that.
I'm old, I just forget.
No, I hear you. For our tree keeper, our arborist consultation project, it is going really well. Tanya's been here 3 times. And I think she was gonna come today, but the rain and so forth, yeah, sure that was a good deterrent. But so far, she has assessed about 125. Told her that we can get about either 400 done this year, that would be a good majority of within that northeast block.
Right.
Oh, and I do want to clarify too, Joe, you talked about like what trees are in there. The wooded areas, like very high dense areas there in the park with the trail system, those have not been, they're not on here. But more out on the, some of the things that she has seen for the most part, she is doing the diameter, the measurements of every tree. She said some of them have grown since the inventory in 2020, especially some of the smaller ones. She said that she's going to change it to what she measures them at, but it might be a little bit off just because everyone measures, she said, at different heights. Very grows,
That
and
makes
so
sense.
It can vary a little bit. Her husband even came out one day, we met Bob, and, he was very helpful and enjoyed his day here in Middleton. But the other things that she has noticed is that there have been a few trees that have been removed, but haven't been removed from the tree. So she has kept record of that, and then also the park has planted several new trees that haven't been put into the system. So I did tell her from the one in the new playground not to worry about that because it was quite a bit of those, and I just was getting in here, getting a list of the landscaper and be able to species and get those planted. I'll take care of that. But she is, some of them as she goes, because she can follow Tree Keeper on her phone, but sometimes her phone updates, sometimes it doesn't. And I told her, I said, I wanted to learn the story anyway, so some of it, as I go through, may already be updated. Some of it, she said, but going well on that. And then we hope that here by the end of October, she'll have all her assessments done. We'll have Tree Keeper updated for year 1 of 5, and then from there, it'll give me a couple months to put 5-year, kind of get an idea. She has identified some trees that need some minor plants, which kind of fertilizer, especially for those younger trees. Some of the leaves don't look as healthy a little bit. And she has already spoken with Donnie Meyer, and I think it's 3 bags that he's already purchased from her. $40 a bag. But she has let him know what trees need to be. Park will take care of that care, so that was good to hear. We'll just take care of the ones that are. She also, there is a kind of gross sun type thing that kind of slows the trees down really close to the sky. she's putting that down.
Really?
But it
That's
doesn't
good.
hurt the tree.
Yeah.
Kind of slows it down a little bit. But we probably will not be making it just because. But of course, if they're dead and then 5 trees in the last week or two, State Street.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up, and I can wait till we get into, additional information. Well, I just wondered, those ones along State Street, how we're gonna address that. Are we just gonna, I mean, this is what I do. If I was a boss, I'd go ahead, I would just start thinking already where you're gonna put the trees to replace those on. Because I know some people don't want a tree in front of their house, but especially in that section of State Street, I think we need to get trees planted there as soon as they come down. I know you can't put them right on the stump or anything, but that is part of what looks so good about Pendleton, especially on our, entrance,
Yeah, see that.
and to have, see that canopy and everything, and to have a big gap there, especially,
On that north side. it
Yeah,
seems like
there's a
right
big-
by the
yeah,
train trestle
yeah,
and
on
my
down,
house again, it's
there around
very-
Julie Schnapp's house and everything, so I just wondered how we're gonna handle that. I know in the past, we've left it up to the homeowner, but I just think it's in the town right away, and,
Now, did you say that those sidewalks are gonna be
Yes, those sidewalks are gonna be removed and
Completely.
replaced in that section.
yeah, so I'd
So we'll
say
have to-
after that.
after that,
Yeah, we gotta
Yeah.
wait till the construction
Yeah.
is done.
Yeah,
In that section though, we're probably only going to put one. The reason why, in that one section, homeowners, they've struggled being able to get in and out, especially that very most far east tree. Of course, the smaller trees not going to be.
but to be up their
as
view,
much.
just because it blocks their view.
Yes,
Yeah.
but we have the speed limit sign there, and then we also when you turn into the school parking lot.
yeah.
So they felt like that at best, we'll probably just have one sign, which is Charlie Boyd's home that she had owned. Just, I think, as new owners that bought one, so
Oh, somebody bought Charlene's?
that's what we've been informed.
Oh, wow. Well, it would be, of all the places to put it,
Yes, yes.
say that'd be the
Yeah.
place to put
So
Well,
it.
let's not give up on that though.
Yeah.
I mean, let's get the new sidewalk in and
Yeah,
and
I
maybe-
just,
maybe approach again, see if
Yeah.
we can find another place to put it.
And I'd like to put more trees farther east.
Yeah.
Because there isn't the street monuments. and so forth.
right, and I know there's some smaller ones there that, younger ones, because there for a while, on that end there for a while, that's where a lot of trees had to be cut down. Because they're all about, not all of them now, but a lot of them are all about the same age.
Yeah, so it'd be nice to stagger.
Yeah.
some of it, Yeah.
And back then, I think they planted a lot of I forget what kind of maple it is, the white maple, maybe, the kind whose roots don't go down as far, and consequently, then that causes sidewalk issues and everything.
But maybe taking out, I mean, those trees that they took out were too big.
Yes.
Yeah.
And maybe if they think about it again, if we put it in the right size tree,
Exactly.
it might not be. a
Something
problem
like
that they're thinking about.
everything that went so smoothly over on Franklin
Yes,
Street.
yeah.
That was a
Trees
very
and
smooth.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So don't give up on it.
Oh, yes, yeah,
Well-
there's definitely plans for at least one there. that
Yeah.
will
Well,
get that
good.
island
Yeah.
there, and then I'd like to add more, whether we use some of our trees for this project for there, but we may not, just because it's gonna be such a small tree for a spruce tree, I'd like to get that.
And if they,
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
and so, but it's just something,
Yeah.
are they gonna do the sidewalks yet this fall or,
Yeah, they're supposed to.
okay.
Yeah.
So that could be something we could think about next year and
Yeah.
everything, but,
And he's gonna remove it when he gets back from vacation. It's supposed to happen here.
oh, well, maybe we could sneak one in. Yeah,
That's what I,
okay, good. I just,
Should it
ever
be one of
since
our
that happened.
200? One of the ones that are now.
well, those are gonna be pretty small. So on State Street, I'm a little hesitant on that. I'd like to more easier to tree. We don't have to cage it around and keep,
Right.
air out of it. Sometimes they, they're a little sand wind that kind of nibbles on.
Right,
So I think we have funding that we can cover and get some bigger trees. We did another tree right in front of George Fairvick's house. Tree there as well.
Well, I have something else that you think on with this, just working on this update. It mentioned that some of those trees. It made me think of another thing, when we had advantage of those arborists that were here that day. That some of those trees in the park, and I know there's 2 or 3 right in front of my house, that still have that wrap around the trunk, and remember Carrie took that, she goes, that should have come off when they got planted, that's from when they were transported. So I want to make sure the park knows that any of those trees need that taken off when they get planted.
And
That's not
even
protecting the
the
wildlife.
name tag as well. The other thing is the mulch. Kind of did a lot
Yes,
of that
drives me
fall,
crazy when you see
mulch
that
too.
mulch.
Yeah, she's marking that as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And so I just need to get with Scott and ask him how he wants me to.
Well, the tree keeper training would be very helpful. I mean, not the tree keeper, the tree
Training,
steward.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. So yeah, they're supposed to get us on the list for spring 2024. So I haven't heard back from them. But requested
I
me
wanted to
be a
sneak
tree
over
steward.
there with a sharp object and cut those trees, but I don't think I should do that. Do you think I should do that?
The notice or I could go over there. Let me know. We
I
can go
mean,
over
it
there
looks like
together.
it's just some kind of.
It's kind of like a cloth kind of
Yeah.
mesh or
Yeah.
sometimes a foam. It's all.
I'm sure,
Three different colors.
I'm sure if you said something to Donnie, he'd say,
Have at it, do
Have
whatever.
at
it.
Yeah.
I mean, who they gonna have to do it? Poor Julie, she can't take. on
Oh, I
one
know.
plant.
that skinny little thing.
So is she the gardener? Is that what
Uh-huh.
you are? Is she gonna be year round then? Or is it just through the summer?
I don't know.
know.
I
She
just-
It was
spends
supposed to be.
awful lot
She's
of
there a
time.
lot. She's a
only-
worker.
Yeah.
Right now, but with the opening of the playground and all that.
Yeah.
new landscape,
She loves it
great,
though.
Yeah.
I
And
see
When
her.
she gets done doing that, she's down at the library. and
Yeah.
in the yard and doing
Yeah.
that.
She likes to stay
She's
busy.
my neighbor and.
Oh,
I
is
haven't
she?
gotten to walk it very often lately, but every
Yeah.
time I have, I've been hoping that I see her outside. but,
Yeah.
yeah.
She really is.
The other thing I want to mention is that I believe, I don't know if I gave you the handout there, but we did get quotes from Tree Keeper. Our renewal is coming up due in October. So I'm going to mention this at my meeting, weekly meeting with Scott tomorrow morning. And Carol and I, we talked about it, whether or not, initially I thought we might go with 1 year with the Tree Keeper just to see how,
Now I forget how much that was.
it's $2,500 for 1 year, or it's $50 for a 3-year subscription, 6 months free, and then it's like $10,000 for a month. The more that Carol and I talked about it, and I think she's 100% right. We're really working this tree keeper program. I think it's, be more and more of an asset to the community, something that we can share and build that awareness to. So I really feel good with going with 3 years. So that's what my request is. going to
Well, if
be
you can get it
tomorrow.
on the budget,
And
why
yes,
not?
and $2,436.56 for the forestry fund. But I don't want to exhaust it all with, or at least 3/4 of it with the subscription for tree keeper. So I'm going to ask Scott if there's any other funds like the electric department fund, which, we held back our funds for our plant growth management. So if he can fund part or all or something. And then also Karen and I talked about in the spring, we'll start working on a budget. And I've already let Scott know this. I want to have a budget for our committee. We got the fund, but I'd like to have an operating budget. So that way, and that'd be outside of the tree treatment. But something that if we wanted to have a group, we want to get material, we want to explore other different education opportunities or whatnot, that we have something to work with. So we usually have to have all those budget items turned in by July of each year. So then that way we start working on the spring, pulling some things together, winter time. That's a downtime, but as far as tree projects.
And this would be one thing that we put in the operating budget then. If we did.
And if we get deeper in next year with the schools,
Yes,
that would come
exactly.
in very handy.
Yes, yeah.
Because that's not gonna be free of charge,
Exactly,
whatever
yes,
you do.
yes,
It's
yes.
not, it's just not
Material,
gonna,
great material, yes.
Yeah.
Curriculum, I agree, yeah. So I will keep you posted on that as well. I'll meet with them tomorrow at 10. They are gonna be doing some jetting in our stormwater lines and so forth tomorrow at 8. So I'm hoping that, we'll be able to hold that meeting, but I'll keep you posted.
well, I hope when they do that in the storm sewer, that there's this giant raccoon that lives in the storm sewer, and there's always been raccoons that live down in there.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this thing is huge. It is right in front of my house. Well, over the past probably 3 or 4 years, I have probably spent over $1,000 on damage that those raccoons have. They get up, they come out of the storm sewer, right? I sit out there, I watch them, and they come out right when it's starting to get dark. And they go immediately to my house, and they climb up the downspout. There's little footprints are on it, and they go up on my roof. And I finally had to get a guy from Middletown to come over and cover everything up there with some kind of metal type stuff, because they wanted in my house bad.
Did you have a fireplace? Or anything?
No, thank
Yeah,
God.
that happened too.
But anyway, over on Pearl Street, there are some major raccoons. I'm telling you. And on my corner, there's,
So what happens when it rains so hard?
I don't know where they go. They don't drown, I know that.
They swim.
But on my corner, Pearl Loma, there's one on every corner. I mean, there's 4 of them.
It's like a
I know, it's
condominium
not
for
funny.
raccoons
Well,
down there.
it's kind of like I would, one time that she brought all her babies up to the right beside my
And they're so
front
cute.
porch. Oh, they're cute, but they were like just talking to each other and everything, and I caught one of them in
Well, you
in
need
a
to
live
keep your
trap.
dog away.
Oh, yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but they go crazy on the other side of the
Yeah.
fence. But I caught one of
I
them.
know that's not
I
funny,
know,
but it
but it
is.
was kind of comical. I caught one of the brothers. I think they're all boys. Yeah.
Of course,
Because they're
ladies
so
wouldn't
mean.
act like that.
One of them got
Well, I don't know,
caught.
there's babies, so there must be a woman in there
Well,
somewhere.
yeah, well, the big fat mama, she's the queen. She just struts down like she owns the place. They're pretty amazing.
I'm gonna have,
Well,
ask
we
Jim
don't go
Cook
there
to
for
come
that
across
time of
some
day.
raccoons in his day. I'm sure he has.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, yeah, walk down there some morning when
Well, we
it's,
do.
but it's gotta be, well, go later on into the year when it takes longer to, be careful with. So,
Yeah. Proceed with caution. Oh, my goodness.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
I that really didn't have anything to do with trees, but
But before I forget, as far as with the tree projects, did want to point out that we got 5 letters of support. One was an email from the planning department of Madison County.
good.
But in your Google Drive, if you go to the bicentennial folder within that, outside of that presentation, we've got one from Eagles with a very, very well-written letter.
Oh, good.
From the town manager, and he's also kind of street superintendent.
All right.
And then we got the planning department, and then we also got the Madison County surveyor, Kim Richardson, provided a really well-written letter as well, just talking about the benefits of tree to stormwater management and so forth, and showing her support of it. And then Jessica Baston had coordinated with the county commissioners, and they also gave their support for
Good.
as well. So we submitted that along with the grant application, and then, why is this not?
I'm surprised Ingles wrote a letter of support.
there
I'm
we go.
impressed that they did that.
And then we've got Carol Hannah that she submitted a very, very nice letter as well, showing support and your commitment.
Very good, Carol.
Yeah. And then on the application, this is the part I'm going to point out. Here again. They wanted to know how the project will help meet the bicentennial committee's goals and their goals for the cultural aspect, being a long-lasting legacy for Indiana and Madison County's future, being a celebration, and then engaging the youth. Yeah. And so just kind of explained as far as just when to get participation from the young. It's going to be a strong focus in our project, that volunteerism and so forth, but then also to inspire them to build
Trees,
appreciation of trees. And
trees are a great legacy.
I think the project, just naturally hit all 4 goals of that grant. So hopefully we'll get some good news here in the next couple. Then back to on the arborist portion. I think I'm done there. I'll keep you posted as far as what Scott says on the subscription. Facebook page, just a couple of updates highlighted, and I do apologize, I did not get to be posted out this last month. So we did put in our recap from our meeting. I also asked that was put on the town website, so they put coverage on that as well. And then provided a link to the urban forestry page within the town website. And then also put the link to the tree keeper. So that's one thing that this fall I want to start really promoting. And as far as just some of the logistics of the Facebook page, today we were able to successfully get it connected to our partner. Not that we anticipate any issues with our urban forestry page. It'll still be nice to know that if we get a public request or anything of that sort, we will, usually, and we're not going to have an issue with taking the records of it, but just in case as this grows and we get a lot of records, we'll be able to provide.
Good.
So that's good. And I've not received any Facebook requests for our old original page since our last meeting. So since kind of unfriended those, it doesn't seem like that kept growing that way. And thank you very much, Carol, for that
Just
excellent
so
idea. That
it
worked.
just went away.
Perfect. Okay, and then just kind of a little recap of our meeting. Did you all want to make sure if you want to take this? I do have another copy, but if you want to take that, you definitely
I've got one too.
Well written.
Yeah, that was well written.
Yeah. That's been a slow news week.
Yeah.
And I thought he looked like like he was so bored. and
I know,
not listening at all. And I'm
I
like,
know, and then he had all this information. I know.
So I didn't know he would go into all the stormwater management. We
Yeah.
talked about it a little bit on the phone, but
Yeah.
then he came here and just involved every bit of it.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a
And I
really
forgot.
good article.
He asked me if he should go to lunch, was there gonna be more that he should hear? And I said, well, I really think, probably not at that point. Probably,
Yeah.
Didn't need to,
Yeah,
he just came to the picture.
yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Yeah. that
He
was
did,
really
he would,
nice.
he had that kind of expression where he thought, but boy,
trees, trees.
yeah,
Yeah.
he really, that was a great article, I thought.
Very, very
How about we
nice.
send him a thank you card?
Oh,
That-
sure, yeah, that'd be,
Is
yeah.
that something you want to sign individually to bring next month, or just kind of put it from the urban forestry?
Yeah,
and
just-
kind of type our
Yeah.
name?
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Yeah, I think that'd be a great idea. Do you have anything you want to share? I know we kind of talked about, our experience that day, but is there something that you want to add or anything as far as our meetings, whether it was here beforehand or during lunch or anything?
I thought it was nice that we all went out to lunch and just,
Yeah.
and just,
Just made it,
yeah, I like that.
yeah.
I just hate that the Sue couldn't be there because she was.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
sent her a text while we were there at the restaurant.
Did you?
And I said, we're sitting here singing your praises.
Yeah, yeah. I was very sad that she couldn't come, and we communicated through email, I'm like, show up late,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
just, would go and play.
oh, yeah,
Well, and I'm glad Taylor was there too, because I know
Oh,
he
yeah.
did so much. I mean,
he
his
really
knowledge
did,
and, I
yeah.
mean, so much of all what we have and what
Yeah.
we do now is thanks to him. So that
Yes,
was
I
nice.
agree. He
Nice
was,
of him too.
and I think we can, I think we'll, within his, I know he's busy and
Yeah.
his kids and everything, but I know that if we would ever needing to,
Yeah,
for any kind of advice or anything,
Yeah.
he would be there in
Yeah.
a flash.
Yeah.
I did hear from Rachel Christensen. She said she really wished she could come. She said that she is thinking about doing a reunion number 2, maybe have something at her house. So I said, you.
Oh,
have
goody, we
nobody
get to
for
see
it,
her
you
house.
just Let us know, we'll get together and, we'll talk. So, yeah. I thought it was a wonderful.
We try and go to at least a few houses on the tour, yeah. Depends on my schedule that day. That's the Sunday, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's a lot of houses on that list.
I know, I was
I
surprised.
know. I mean, I don't.
And did you see where the bank's gonna be open?
Oh, are they? Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea.
They're gonna have roasted chickens.
Oh, wow,
Really busy.
Yeah.
that's good.
I'm gonna try this. Did get the link for the Tree Campus K-12 program. There's more information on the Arbor Day website if you'd like to take a look. I did provide some information there, some handouts there that talks a little bit about kind of the steps of how the program is recognized and what it takes to be a tree campus. So just quickly, and this is my goal, is over the winter to learn more and more about this program, because I'd like to have it in place by 2025. Or 2024. sorry,
Yes.
2024 fall to 2025 school.
That's, yeah,
So I think it'd be great to be able to get Dr. Hall and then reach out to him. We would let Daryl and I talk about it, just to be able to see who he feels like needs to come to the table, be a part of the conversation. If he thinks that the principals at each of the 3 elementaries, but I'd love to be able to have some type of environmental biology class with the middle school and high school, to have a piece of that in their curriculum built into as well. But the Tree Campus team would be who would be a part, would be all members of our board, be myself, and it would be the even if it's just a week or a month or something, that is a part of the curriculum that we can. That might be something that we can pay for. We did a wonderful job with that tree care manual. So it might be something that we can have.
Yeah.
Kind of give some education about the tree benefits and so forth in the classroom, but then we also need a hands-on outside of the classroom. Or planting a tree or going out and maybe assessing trees. It would be a variety of things. But that is a piece I think that makes it so much more fun. So much more fun.
Maybe pruning, wouldn't
And
that be fun?
pruning,
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
But the kids would love that.
Oh,
Yeah.
my gosh.
Maybe we do a little picnic or something at the
Oh, we have
park.
somebody that knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, I think it'd be real interesting to kids and older students, even to know how you assess a grade, when she comes, what is she looking for?
Right.
Yeah, just to go through that, an example in nature with the tools.
Yeah.
See that done and then let them try it. I think that would be really something.
And you know,
they
it-
won't forget. Yeah.
It probably would be surprising how many kids really got into it. I
Yeah.
mean, I think,
Yeah, when you do something hands-on. it's
Yeah.
such- Yeah.
I just think that could be a great.
And then maybe for some of them, maybe we look at some street trees and let them update.
Yeah,
You know, 'cause some of those kids that like that technical.
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Just
Like high
kind of
schoolers,
be
maybe
with
that-
them
yeah.
and just, yeah, that,
It's fine.
maybe you could get some credits at school for it or something, you
I
know.
think we could come up with it.
I get the goosebumps. I don't get like so excited. Cool. Watch this video here. I don't know if I can come there. But I thought this was really cool.
Look at that.
Maybe I'll get the volume here.
Send us that link. Did you send us something in email?
Yes, okay, so you don't see that. Yeah. Okay, so there, yeah. We already did Arbor Day anyway.
Yeah. And we have such a beautiful places around here. We could take, yeah. Campus. That would be great. .org.
But yeah, that is, doing a tree steward post site in spring of 2024. But yes, in 2025. And there is some potential funding that we may qualify for through the redevelopment commission.
Mm,
So up to 15% of their funds can be allocated to education.
really?
So I'm thinking
That's
that
the-
we've got.
that's the
some larger
RDC?
costs. That's the RDC.
Oh,
So you
my.
have friends and people you know in RDC.
Wow.
Like this
Oh,
people
yeah, there
that-
you go.
Yes, and so, did learn that here a while back about TIF, the tax increment financing program, and so I think that would be something that.
Plant
they
some
would
seeds.
support.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes. And then the last thing I want to mention is, and Carol's already signed up for it, but we got an email that the city of Richmond is hosting the first tree steward program at the end of October. So I've got kind of an email there. If you're interested in attending, let me know. We'll get you registered. But it is an in-person time and it's a 2-day class. They're in Richmond.
It's the end of October sometime.
Yes, I believe
It's like
it's
Thursday,
27th,
Friday, or something like that.
27th, maybe. I think I gave a printout maybe of it. Look, in the hard copies that I made. I didn't make a copy for me, so I apologize, but I just wrote down.
Oh, yeah, here it is. I see it.
Yeah, so if it's something that you'd like to attend and go to, you'll have classroom, but then you also have some hands-on.
And I think a test.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
cool.
I think I'm gonna request 2 days off for that. I would love.
Okay, yes, okay.
If I give a notice in soon enough, I think that would be.
I,
Okay,
Jennifer doesn't let
Let
me
me
off
know
at
if
the
you
pumpkin
can
patch. so.
Joe, if you can confirm that for me, let me know. And
I can't, I will.
find out, you know.
Maybe by then we won't have any field trips because that'd be during the week. So that we don't, it dies down, the field trips die down during the week. So maybe I
Yeah.
could go too.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I'm gonna look at our calendar too. I did the one, but it was Zoom. And
Yeah.
I like in person.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I did part of that. It was really
Very.
very
Technical,
informative.
wasn't it?
Yeah, very
Yes.
technical. Yeah.
I
It was,
definitely could use it.
I was,
during the
yeah, I
year.
was. I was,
They give you lots of handouts and everything that,
Being virtual, we didn't get that.
Oh, yeah.
But then they came in person here at the park and then we
Yeah.
went to the tree and they talked about fruits.
Yeah,
and had
yeah,
different
yeah.
things, we walked around with the different
Yeah.
species. And it was a great experience, but I think the in-person would be really nice.
yeah.
Okay, all right, so yes, if you can let me know, if that's something you can go, I'll get you signed up.
If I can, I sure will.
Okay, perfect. Arbor Day celebration, I communicated with the new principal at Pendleton Elementary, which is Melissa Hagerman. So I've known her for years, working with her, that she was a coach for our 2 girls in cross country and track. Wonderful lady, and so very happy for her and her promotion. But she definitely said they absolutely want to keep tradition and want to be able to keep this program going. She said that mid to late September would be good for them, but the time changed a little bit. She said we can't start until about 8:35 to 8:45. If they would like to have it. So she asked if we can come up with a few dates that would work well for us. I don't know, Joe, how, your time goes. Bring your little ones if you'd like, if you
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
If I
so,
could keep them in a stroller, it'd be okay, but they might be screaming in the stroller. so
Yeah.
well, we go up on that hill, that would be.
Yeah.
I just,
I don't know. if
I
there's
can't say.
any
Yeah.
dates that. I'm trying to think if there's any
I'm gonna
dates
be
that
gone the
hotels
last
out
week
that
of
we
the
can
month.
attend.
No, the last week of September.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean if that's, I could do it on the 25th. Yeah. And I'm working on the 26th. But it doesn't have to be. At that time of the day, I can pretty much just do it any day.
So it's gonna be in the
In
morning,
the
right?
morning, yeah. 8:30.
I might, I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? They start coming in the morning in September. I mean, they come pretty early
Yeah.
to schools.
Yeah.
Well, Jody, you want to check your calendar and then I'll touch base with all of you and see if there's any days that will help us out that maybe Pendleton might.
I'm
be
kind
in.
of trying to look, but
So far, I'm not coming up.
And if some schools will do teacher. workshop days or
Yeah.
something, you know.
The kids will be out, but the teachers would have to be. there.
Right.
That's my issue.
Oh, well, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, teacher work day
Yeah.
doesn't work.
Yeah.
I'll pull up Aunt Brandon with house.
Okay,
I
okay.
thought I did that, marked them all on my calendar, but maybe
I'm sorry, I am just no good in September and October. I'm just like lucky if I get 5 hours sleep sometimes.
We'll,
Between the
we've got
market
some
and.
time.
I sent a text asking for permission to be off on the 26th, 27th. I may have an answer for you here soon.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, yeah. That sounds good. All right, well, we'll work on a date, a few dates, and then I'll get back, with you all, and then I'll get back with Melissa. and get it.
Yeah.
As far as, community tree distribution day, we, talked a lot about this already, but, I would, like to find a local nonprofit group, that might be interested, kind of help man that a little bit, have some more bodies, on the ground, to be able to get the trees up in the trailers and trucks and so forth. And then maybe help out with the barrels and getting those, not the barrels, but the buckets and getting the holes drilled out for that and stickers. But Principals Park did a wonderful job with the buckets and so forth, so maybe we'll let them get through their heritage fair and so forth and maybe see if that's something they
I'm
would
pretty
like to
sure we can
do.
get enough volunteers to, ahead of time, prepare those buckets and get stickers on.
Okay.
When we did all those for the October event, we weren't there 2 hours when we had all those holes drilled and
Yeah.
stickers on. And there was only like 5 of us working on it, I think.
Yeah. Another thought is, I've had a conversation with one of the presidents, or how that works, but American Legion, they seem to want to get very involved with the community, get their awareness out there. They're going to do the window display for November and December there. at the council chambers. And they said that they've done more charity and community work this last year than they had done.
Yeah, they're really, what was that guy's name that came in?
Dave Scaling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dave
Yes,
Scalen,
yeah,
yes,
he's
he's, yeah, yeah, he's,
That might be something that they might want to have some participation. for.
Right.
They might,
Yeah.
They might have more people that would not have to take on work.
right.
Yes,
For
that's what I was
Friends
thinking, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe we can kind of focus on Friends Falls Park for the buckets and so forth. And then the last thing here, spoke with Craig Switzer. He is on vacation now. He'll be back tomorrow at 4 o'clock. And he's on call for the weekend. He's coming back. But he is going to get with this crew and they're going to coordinate. But we want to wait until after the playground ceremony and all that stuff is all cleared out and out of the way. But they are going to get the bucket truck. The flagpole has been damaged. It's been damaged for a long time. They can't lower the flags. They'll remove them. So they're going to get the bucket tree up and then they're place it to our new flag.
Oh, good.
We did a new flag every couple of years. So we didn't get a new one this year when we got our letter, but we got it the year before. So he's going to go ahead and hang that up and then I'd like to have a committee picture. So I'll just reach back out to you as far as best times after he gets that done and we'll.
There's somebody that might help with distribution day.
Yeah,
Yeah, he might.
he's retired now,
I know.
too.
Steve will.
Steve Wills.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Let's put his
Yes.
name down.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's don't even ask him.
So when we do that picture, maybe we'll come up with maybe probably an evening time would work good and then we'll just gather together for a little quick picture.
Good.
That is, I think that's it. I've got to look at here, make sure on my notes here. make
Well,
sure
you,
everything's
you had a lot to
okay,
cover
but,
today.
You guys have any questions? You guys are having such great ideas. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Very
Sounds
helpful.
great.
Put all this,
We volunteered to speak. Thanks for your.
Yeah, thanks for your help.
All right, very good. And like I said, if things come up, don't hesitate to remind us that we're supposed to be doing something. Or if you need any help with anything.
I think the communication will come out is just updates on the tree planting
Yeah.
project, planting at the tree or at the elementary, and then our picture. So those are kind of things that will.
Sounds great. Meeting adjourned.
Adjourn, yeah.